Cześć, przygodówkowe świry. Nie pamiętam jak to było w Misiu, ale tym streamem udowadniamy wszystkim niedowiarkom, że ta gra zostanie skończona, tak? Parafrazując. Cześć czat, cześć oglądający. Fajnie, że jesteście dzisiaj ze mną w tą niedzielę. Nie będę kłamał. Nie mam żadnego pojęcia o co chodzi. Nie wiem gdzie jesteśmy. Nie wiem co się stało. Chyba musiałbym faktycznie grać od początku, żeby złapać ponownie wątek. Coś tam próbowałem odpalić tego save'a, pojeździć trochę po Londynie, żeby się zorientować, gdzie jesteśmy. Podsumowania ciach nie będzie, bo absolutnie nie pamiętam. Wiem, że są na mapie jeszcze lokalizacje, w których nie byliśmy i mam nadzieję, że stara metoda rozmawiania z wszystkimi o wszystkich, tak żeby wyczerpać wszystkie wątki, pchnie tą historię jakoś do przodu. Mam nadzieję, bo inaczej słabo to widzę. Zanim przejdziemy do samej gry, to muszę Wam jeszcze przypomnieć, że w dniu dzisiejszym kończy się licytacja kalendarza Kubary 2024. To jest ta licytacja, z której całość środków zostanie przekazana na wsparcie 32. finału Wielkiej Orkiestry Świątecznej Pomocy. W dniu dzisiejszym przebiliśmy kwotę 3650 zł, co oznacza, że teraz już kalendarz jest wyceniony na 100 zł wyżej niż ten zeszłoroczny, za co Wam bardzo dziękujemy. Licytacja trwa do godziny 20 w dniu dzisiejszym, więc po cichu liczę, że uda się jeszcze kilka złotych dobić przed tą godziną 20. No, finał będzie już poza streamem, potem przewidziany jest na 2 godziny, ale będziemy to uważnie śledzić. Dobra, my możemy wracać w takim razie do gry. Ja nawet nie pamiętam, czy ona miała jakieś problemy techniczne, czy ona się wieszała. Chyba 2 razy był taki przypadek, więc tradycyjnie save'y trzeba będzie robić. Sprawdźmy tylko, czy głośność jest odpowiednia.
This matter is highly confidential, Watson. Are you continuing your journal entries?
Posterity deserves a record of our inquiry, Holmes, even if the current generation must be ignorant of it.
Okej, myślę, że to jest dobry poziom. W sensie myślę, że dla was nie za głośno, a ja staram się tradycyjnie nie wcinać w ich rozmowy. Chodźmy na miasto.
Let us resume our investigation, Watson.
I'm prepared to follow you anywhere, Holmes.
Ciut za dużo nawet. Chciałbym, żeby było wyraźnie ich słychać. W sensie, jak będzie kaszel, to daj mi tak. Mój komentarz jest kwestią drugorzędną. Chcę, żeby grę zapamiętać dobrze. Tu mamy pogadane. Z nimi mamy pogadane. Okej. Okej, teraz gdzie myśmy nie byli jeszcze? Jacob Fartington. Fartington to jest piękne nazwisko. Jakbym miał misia pluszowego, to by go nazwał pan Fartington. Tutaj Daily Telegraph byliśmy. Hemmings Dix to jest ten malarz? Chyba tak. Tutaj był jakiś zamordowany. Spitalfields chyba tutaj nie byliśmy.
Dzięki za paczkę. Dzięki za Sherlocka.
Kwarków płacił 20 zł. Dzięki za paczkę, dzięki za Sherlocka. Proszę bardzo, polecam się. Paczka, rozumiem, to ta z nagrodami z finału FGA 2023. Cieszę się, że dotarła. Scotland Yard. Tak, tutaj wszędzie byliśmy. W ministerstwie też byliśmy. U fotografa chyba nie byliśmy, co? Tak, nie przypominam sobie tego miejsca.
Won't be a moment, gentlemen. The sample portraits are my calling cards. Feast your eyes and help yourselves.
Aha, okej. Dobra, co to za wizytówkę wzięliśmy? Okej, dobra. Po prostu jego wizytówka. No sorry, Quest, musiałem odpalić, tam odpowiem później. Okej, lista odwiedzających. Okej, portrety. Jeżeli dobrze pamiętam, to w tej grze po prostu trzeba przeklikać wszystko. I opisy są fajne. Natomiast nie na wszystkie mamy czas. No i w takiej sytuacji, kiedy bohater nie wypowiada tych kwestii, to jest to w trybie streamu, czy też streama mniej interesujące. Najważniejsze jest to, żeby obejrzeć wszystko, co potem pozwoli nam rozmawiać z innymi postaciami. Vanity, coś jest na tym Vanity? Mirror tylko, czy Mirror osobno trzeba obejrzeć? Tak się trochę czuję, jakbym widział pierwszy raz tą grę, tak. Czy muzyka jest za głośno? Akurat w muzyce nic nie zmieniałem, więc podejrzewam, że jest ok. Dobra, tutaj coś na stole. Coś fajnego? Nic. Pan Hargrove, co pan tu robisz?
Mr. Hargrove, my name is Holmes. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
I never haggle over price. You may check my book for an available sitting.
Thank you, no. I merely require some information.
Mr. Humes, is it? Information is not my business.
Yes,
I
Holmes.
am
Holmes.
an artist.
You're too modest, sir. You may know much to my purpose. Your business is thriving in a competitive market. How do you account for your success?
Quality will out. People of taste appreciate my work.
Whom do you honor with red ink?
My memory for minutiae is terrible. Like all great artists, I must write down everything to do with commerce. Forget my own name one day.
Taki zadufany.
You either began this business in infancy or your card contains a printer's error. Surely your studio was not established in 1846.
No, yes, I mean, well, not precisely. The public appreciates a business with longevity. I, as it
Co jest
happens,
grane
was
po tym?
established on
Jeszcze nie
that
wiem.
date in
Miałem plany, a
1846.
już
I would have
zapomniałem.
thought your clientele would reward a less traditional sensibility. But I'm not in business, am I? Born in a leap year under the sign of Aquarius, were you?
Quite.
Okej, urodzony w roku przestępczym pod symbolem wodnika.
I see you are on the national telephone.
This is not an exchange, Mr.
Tekst jest na
Holmes.
liście.
There is a public instrument in the post office at Marble Arch.
Do people still sit for daguerreotypes in this day and age?
It's time-consuming,
To
of
nie jest od
course,
początku,
but
daj
many
żyć.
of my discerning
Musimy się jakoś
clients
odnaleźć w tym
prefer the
ranie.
unique, positive image. A daguerreotype is an unreproducible jewel of unmatched clarity.
Is there a second studio behind the curtain?
That is my workroom. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other commitments.
Might we go back there?
It is not convenient for you. It will never be convenient.
Ej, no wpuść nas.
I saw the portrait you did for my friend, Lord Lawton and his fiancée.
And you were impressed. They are a handsome couple, are they not? Might I do the same for you and your intended?
Not at the moment. Do you use gold chloride to tone your paper?
Never. My printing out paper is unique, sir. The finest Godin gelatin silver. But instead of chloride, I use well, another salt. I trust you are not going to become a competitor.
Okej.
Where do you keep duplicate negatives?
I have no storage facilities.
What if Lady Lockridge were to lose or damage hers?
A truly skillful photographer could achieve something with the positive, but that's beside the point. You had other business with me.
Nie, chyba by się nie zakwalifikował do Games Done Quick. W sensie to na grę na pewno można
Most studios
skończyć
now
szybciej.
use the
My się nie
collodion
śpieszymy.
development process, do they not?
Słuchamy
They
wszystkich
do, and
dialogów.
I say let them. I provide choices. My unique collodion technique produces distinctively excellent results which cannot be imitated by any jackass who calls himself a photographer.
Is not all collodion development basically the same? Phenol to reduce, sodium sulfite for control, and the thiosulfate solution to fix.
Excuse my snorting. Your ignorance is common. I won't divulge my methods, but I will say, for example, that cyanide in skilled hands is a better fixative than thiosulfate could ever be.
I believe I have seen more of your work, sir.
I'm not surprised. It appears in many of the city's celebrated addresses. Whom have you viewed?
I'm not
Ignorance is
certain,
common,
but the
tak,
brilliant
to jest
finish
ładne.
of the paper is reminiscent
Swoją
of your
drogą to
style.
bardzo romantyczne czasy, kiedy trzeba mieć zestaw małego chemika, żeby wywołać zdjęcie. Czy mam jakieś zdjęcia mu do pokazania? Coś mówi, że można, że z niektórych zdjęć, on ponoć nie odkłada negatywów. O.
Who is the person depicted in the photograph?
Lieutenant Basingstoke. He recently succumbed to cholera in Suez. Shocking loss for all who knew him. How have you come by it?
By accident. Is it unique?
Hardly. I must have made 10 copies. Extraordinarily sharp image, if I do say. I wonder how it was damaged.
Did Basingstoke reveal why he wanted to be photographed?
No, I never ask. But I suppose the desire to stall the march of time informs all possible reasons. An image is an aid to memory.
But it captures nothing essential. It's less than a fly caught in amber. No vitality or habits of mind are preserved.
I don't believe, sir, that my studio can hold any further interest for you.
Dogadają się. Szkoda, że ja nie wiem, co to są ci wszyscy ludzie, o których oni opowiadają te fotografie, skąd ja je mam. To jest mugshot. Dobra, więcej to zróbmy jeszcze na złość. Spróbujmy odsunąć tą kotarę.
You are here on my sufferance, sir. Keep away from my private studio, or I shall seek an official remedy.
Zabrzmiało jak groźba. Official Remedy. No dobra, chyba więcej nie mamy, chyba że Watson ma coś do powiedzenia.
Remarkable picture of Lord Halliburton's affianced. Hargrove is skilled.
The image is sharp and brilliantly finished. Best of all, it bears little resemblance to the woman herself. Without the legend, I would never have recognized her.
Were she to retire from society, the photograph would enhance her reputation. The portrait probably makes better conversation. There's something odd about her costume, do you see it?
I defer comment. Fashion is not my field.
Stitch Rumsey's expert opinion would be welcome. Things may not be what they seem here, Watson. Discretion must be our watchword.
I'll follow your lead.
Aha. Scanvivi stwierdził, że jest... zrobił error. Czyli jednak ta gra ma błędy. W sensie wywala się. Dobrze pamiętałem. No dobra. Spróbujmy jeszcze raz. Niestety intra nie można skipnąć. Musi się pokazać tytuł, dopiero wtedy możemy wrócić do gry.
Let's go! Found on and steady!
No jak ona się będzie jeszcze wieszać po drodze, to na pewno jej nie skończymy prędko. Dobra, czy Watson chodzi szybko? No, teraz chodzi szybko. Dobra, zróbmy to. Zróbmy to szybko teraz.
Let us resume.
I'm prepared.
Tak, to dobrze zapamiętałem. Panowie nie mogą po prostu wyjść z domu, mają obrządek. Ubierają się. Ta podomka Sherlocka bardzo fajna. Dobra. Chodźmy do fotografa.
Won't be a moment, gentlemen. The sample portraits are my calling cards. Feast your eyes.
No sorry, Pablitowe. Sorry, że cię zawiodłem i stream się odbył. Look. Wszystko obejrzyjmy. Podium. Backdropy. Tak. Dywan. Wszystko obejrzymy. Jeszcze tą jego wizytówkę, którą nam dał, nie? Tak, teraz sobie zrobimy save'a.
Mr. Hargrave.
I never...
Thank you.
Mr.
You're too...
Zobaczymy.
You're busy. Whom?
My...
You either...
No.
I see.
This...
Is there a...
That is my...
Might we...
It is not.
I saw...
And you...
Not...
Never.
Teraz mu pokażemy ten portret, który mamy. Najpierw ten? Nie. Od razu ten. Tak. No tego nie chcę oglądać.
Who is the...
Lieutenant...
But
Huh?
Lieutenant jest na tym
I believe I'm not...
zdjęciu.
Where did...
I have...
What...
A true...
Did...
No.
But...
I don't...
Most do...
They do, and...
Is not all...
Your ignorance is common, tak. Teraz spróbujemy to ruszyć. Tak, nie ma
You are
sucharów,
he-
bo nie ma króla sucharów z nami. Tak. Dobra. Przed rozmową z Watsonem zrobimy jeszcze jednego save'a. Doktorze, co pan na to?
Remark...
The...
Word...
I...
Stitch... Ru-
I'll follow...
Czyżby? W tym samym miejscu? Jep. Coś jest ewidentnie nie tak w tym miejscu się triggeruje. Może po prostu z Watsonem nie można porozmawiać na ten temat. Spróbujemy jeszcze raz, a jak nie, to pominiemy tą jedną kwestię. Apexa? No, nie ma żadnego Apexa. 100 lat nie grałem w Apexa. Są całe strony wątków na forum Skandii o tym, jak niektóre akcje triggerują takie właśnie błędy, że czasem kolejność, w którym się dokonuje niektórych czynności, rozmawia z niektórymi osobami, potrafią wpędzić grę w taki właśnie stan, w którym albo nie da się jej skończyć, albo ona głupieje i się zawiesza właśnie.
The artist meaning what he speaks. I understand. It certainly.
No dobra, i teraz sobie z nim pogadaliśmy. Hargrove, co ty na to?
You have developed.
You must associate with a fine
It is said that you are one of a handful of men.
flat.
Dobra. Okej, mamy chyba tak, to zróbmy sobie tutaj save'a. Udało się przegadać z Watsonem. To chodźmy dalej. Tylko gdzie my pójdziemy? To zdjęcie było chyba od tego lorda właśnie, Lowtona. Ja muszę sobie... O, tak, to jest on. Muszę sobie przypomnieć ten wątek. O co tu chodziło? Myśmy to zdjęcie chyba z tego albumu wzięli, nie?
Where is the ring lately purchased by and for your
A
fiancée?
może nie?
I will not redeem whatever scurrilous information you have extracted from her jeweler, Mr. Holmes.
Would it surprise you to learn that I
Jewelera
found the ring in the
to
possession of a
pamiętam go. To jest
deceased
ten, co go
prostitute?
zamknęliśmy w jego własnym
I'm
sklepie
sure it
na
would surprise Lady
zapleczu,
Lockridge.
prawda?
Are you a blackmailer as well as a busybody? What compels
Busybody?
you to harass me in this nefarious manner?
The truth compels me. Tell it, and I may set you free.
Ha! Your precious truth means ruination. Will you return the ring?
I don't think now would be a good time. This ring is part of an evidentiary chain linking numerous crimes. How did it come to be in her possession?
I'm sure I don't know. It must have been
A
stolen from
pierścienia
this
nie miała
room.
ta kobieta, która pilnowała porwanego chłopca?
What has become of the engagement portrait of you and Lady Cordelia?
That's none of your business, Mr. Holmes. If there is nothing else, I'm rather pressed for time.
Time will press you soon enough. There is a picture missing from your photo album. Who is the subject?
I have nothing to say on that topic except that you appear to have taken extraordinary liberties in my home.
Something was stolen from your home, and you have nothing to say? The police will certainly feel differently.
No, this is not a police matter.
When is theft of private property not a police matter?
The item was precious only as a memento of a service I rendered. It can be of no possible value to anyone else.
I think you know that's a lie. It has already purchased your silence. Lawton, I can see that you are hard-pressed. Let me help.
Protecting an innocent's reputation is a sacred trust.
That's as may be, but theft, murder, and extortion surround you. I know, as a penguin knows ice, that you have knowledge of one or more of these crimes. Give me the facts.
I have done nothing sordid nor patently criminal. Call in the police if you must, but they will get nothing from me. It is a question of honor.
Honor? I'm surprised you don't choke on the word. When you quashed the inquiry, you were certain that your committee was investigating a real theft. What did they threaten you with? What do you hold so precious that you would jeopardize the security of your country?
It is simple to revile what you don't understand. If I must pay for an error of judgment, so be it. I will accept the consequences.
That was not your decision to make. My brother has already paid. You offer a self-serving admission of indiscretion and still speak of honor? I would throttle you myself if I could spare the energy. You, sir, are despicable. Watson, I beg you to restrain me. I'm ready to commit mayhem.
Watson, trzymaj mnie.
Jenkins, see Mr. Holmes out.
Watson, trzymie, bo nie wytrzymie. Dobra, gdzie myśmy jeszcze nie byli? U Fartingtona nie byliśmy, nie?
He may be engaged. I haven't even announced you. Were you raised by wolves? I can't approve impositions on Mr. Farthington's time. He does little enough real work as it is. People without appointments are so aggravating.
Good day, gentlemen. What a pleasant surprise. Help yourself to a sherry while I finish this brief.
O,
I
no
won't
lubię.
be long.
Nie dość, że smakuje, że częstuje sherry, to jeszcze jest w trybie tego. No, jak się nazywa? Rosebud. Zaraz sobie przypomnę. Dobra, obejrzyjmy, co tutaj jest. Listy. No to przynajmniej ci się publitowe zgubiły obie i nie musisz tęsknić. Orson Welles. O. Gość w typie Orsona Wellesa. Okay. Admire. My zawsze admire, tak. A, to jest takie admire z rozmową, dobrze.
Do you suppose Paul and Anna would sit for such a photograph for me? There's no need. Anna has the negative to that one.
Okej. Mowa o negatywach, to może... Smell. Mhm. Jeżeli ktokolwiek tutaj palił, dopalał do końca. O, znalazłem sherry. No. Ludzie mówią, że nie lubią prawników, to po prostu nie spotkali takiego, który częstuje sherry. Co on tutaj ma na tym desku? O, kalendarz, okej. Zaraz obejrzymy jeszcze, żebyśmy jego obserwowali. Tak, coś tu jest konkretnego do otworzenia. Zobaczmy ten kalendarz. Nie to. Peru.
Asking you to keep your eyes to yourself is like asking a dog not to bark.
Haha, tu masz rację, Jacob. Jacob Fartington.
Your clerk's demeanor is unaffected by his tuition at the Charm Academy. In this inconstant world, I find comfort in his predictable impudence.
Small comfort, I should think.
At my age, Doctor, small comforts are all a wise man should expect. Speaking of which, I'm sorry for your brother's accident, Holmes. I've heard he will recover. You won't mind if I work while we talk. What may I do for you?
To jest wszystko, co wiesz.
I'm looking for a barrister named Bledsoe.
Barrister
He has
też ładne
chambers
słowo.
here, I believe. In candor, I advise you to look elsewhere for legal representation. This is strictly a private matter, nothing to do with the law yet. I believe he serves on your brother's committee. Surely that would be a more suitable forum for cross-examination. It would not, as it happens. Do you know where he is? I couldn't say. You would not compel me to violate a confidence as the price for telling me his whereabouts? If the substance of your colloquy is confidential, Holmes, so is his location. In fairness, I can do no less. He's a friend of sorts. You must give up something to receive. We can deal on no other basis.
Okej, czyli on zdradzi, gdzie jest ten kolor, którego szukamy, kimkolwiek on jest. Bannister to jest jakiś ten prawnik, w sensie ktoś to reprezentuje przed sądem, ale nie wiem, czemu my go szukamy w ogóle.
Where are the Egyptian funerary urns? Were they less lovely than they looked? Confiscated. fakes, and stolen besides. I was nearly charged. A client and former friend gave them to discharge a debt. The case is in Chancery. I'll never live to see its resolution.
Justice delayed is justice denied.
Apt, Doctor, but regrettably meaningless to the Lord Chancellor. I note Cicero has replaced Demosthenes as your orator of choice. Infer no qualitative judgment. The Athenian was an unpleasant reminder of youthful excess. You may recall that he perfected his enunciation with a mouthful of pebbles. I aped his training methods, but used whorehound lumps instead. One day I accidentally swallowed them all. Wreaked havoc on my digestive tract.
Okej.
If you won't tell me where Bledsoe is, perhaps you would tell me about him. Very well. He's a childless widower, retiring by nature. Family money allowed him the leisure to serve the government. His wife was the only daughter of Silas Byrne, who publishes a toxic rag called The Gadfly. He never liked Bledsoe. Since his wife's untimely death, Bledsoe has been repeatedly pilloried in its pages as a venal hack and toadying nincompoop.
I've read those articles. Should have recollected the name. Are the allegations unjustified?
Completely unfounded. Admittedly, he's a man of modest endowments, but he's tireless and honest, with no ambition beyond service to the Queen, and of course, staying out of harm's way. He is not an adventurer who would betray his country. Never. Though it's not strictly a question of patriotism. Regrettably, most men's loyalty is not proof against the right inducement. But Bledsoe so despises excitement of any kind, he would perish from anxiety simply contemplating such an act.
No, sobie trochę ugraliśmy, boję się, że się znowu wykrzaczy gra.
Must I rummage through the bowels of the Inns of Court looking for the man? You might find his chambers, but you would not find him. Never there. Hasn't had a brief in years. He's not a man altogether comfortable with human contact. I hope Paul and Anna Carraway are well. They are, thanks to you. Lord Brumwell was financially ruined, you know. Exposure of his son's real maternity drove him over the edge. Paul and Anna are living on their own then. They prefer it that way. Sir Avery Fanshawe bought the Brumwell place, kit and caboodle, for his wife, so Anna is out from under the estate taxes.
To może jest komentarz do jakichś poprzednich przygód, albo coś z którejś z książek o Sherlocku, albo pierwszej części, bo przypomnę wam, że to jest druga część zrobiona przez to
Who is the
studio.
PB referred to in your calendar, Farthington? Perhaps I've misread your character, Holmes. You seem oblivious to the claims of privacy. I apologize, Farthington. My zeal overtook my judgment. I assume that Bledsoe is more than a casual acquaintance, Farthington. I know your methods, Holmes. You never assume when proof is available.
Okej. Watson, co ty na to?
Waters is still the image of incivility. I wonder that Farthington keeps him on.
A competent clerk may be hard to find. Then again, some people tolerate abusive behavior better than others.
We could waste precious time looking for Bledsoe and still come up empty. I'm stymied, Watson.
I'm sorry to hear it, Holmes, because that makes two of us.
Roszak nikt się
Perhaps
mnie
we
nie
should move
spodziewał.
on.
I trust Farthington implicitly. Should I confide something of our mission to him?
That must be your decision, Holmes. Mycroft would expect no less.
Łącznie ze mną.
We did a good bit of work for the Carraways, Watson, if I say so myself.
One day the world will learn of it too. It's called The Case of the Serrated Scalpel.
Tak,
You've written it
to
up,
jest,
have
to
you?
jest pierwsza część.
Shall I see it published?
Not in this lifetime, old friend. We made a promise. Rest assured, I've given credit where it was due. Protected the innocent and vilified the guilty. All received their just deserts.
What does Farthington's description of Bledsoe suggest to you?
He sounds a reclusive type, overly fond of tranquility, unpredictable and antisocial. Perhaps slightly unhinged.
And frightened silly, I'll wager. I should dismiss him for cause as a suspect. Nevertheless, I must speak with him. It is always a mistake to ignore the obvious. Questions, Watson?
Does it seem to you that security at the ministry is not everything it might be?
It seems that security there is nothing it ought to be.
No use crying over spilt milk, I suppose.
Right. Wait till it turns rancid, then gag on it.
Dobra. Save. Łazimy, gadamy, tylko nie wiem, czy historia się pcha do przodu. Czy jemu coś można pokazać? Mamy tobacco. Nie, nic z tego. Nie. To nie, będziemy mu pistoletu pokazywać. Backshot, nie. Pięcia też nie chcę zobaczyć. Ciasteczko. Nie. Handkerchief, envelope. Nie, dobra. Chodźmy stąd w takim razie. Gdzie my nie byliśmy? W ministerstwie byliśmy? Chyba byliśmy w ministerstwie, co? Klerk. Luk na klerka. Luk na desk. Coś tu ma na tym desku? O, może się wspiąć. A, byliśmy tu. Pamiętam, bo się wspinałem już na to, tak. Można przejść dalej?
If you take another step into the room, you'll be charged with
Dobrze, to nie. To w takim razie ja przepraszam.
You've had no word of Whitney?
No official word, no. The child's ill and I'm late for an appointment at my club. Now please leave.
May I examine the premises?
Absolutely not. Leave or I'll have you charged with criminal trespass.
Criminal trespass. Okej. No to nie, to tutaj nie. A Whitney? Kim był Whitney? Whitney to nie był ten gość, którego w bani, w tych saunie zamknęliśmy? Well Pound. Tutaj byliśmy? O, ładnie tutaj. Nie przyjmę sobie tego miejsca. Miard. A, może tu byliśmy nawet? Nie wiem, czy tutaj nie poznaliśmy tego gościa, który nas zaprowadził potem do siebie, tego, co wyłowił jakieś śmieci z rzeki obok trupa. Patron. Tok tu patron.
Did you know Thomas Pratt? Or do you know anyone who knew him?
You're the police.
No, we're friends of his.
You look like them.
Friends?
Police. Blast your eyes. Shove off.
No, z muzykami nie można.
Damnation, blast and bloody hell.
Okej, papuga. Z drinkerem. To może też z barmanem.
May I purchase a packet of matches for my pipe?
Matches is gratis for my customers and back. Smoking tobacco's a filthy habit. I sell alcohol. If you don't want to drink, take a hike.
I smell something strange. Perhaps I'll just walk back there.
And I'll tear you a new ear hole. Entrance is by special permit only. You ain't welcome. Seamen, sailors and their friends. That's who I cater to.
What about a drink, Watson, to gain the barman's confidence?
I'm sure you've appreciated my nearly unqualified acquiescence over the years. You'd concede that I've almost always supported your proposals unstintingly.
Rightly and well said, Watson. You've been a brick.
Then perhaps you will indulge me and let us leave directly. I would rather swim in a Calcutta cesspool than subject my constitution to the crockery and pestilential potables of this establishment.
I'll take that as a no, shall I?
Take a hike!
Have we seen the landlord before, Watson? Is he not like the Lascar from the Bar of Gold?
Lasker, the German chess prodigy?
Please attend, Doctor. Does the proprietor remind you of the lascar from the Bar of Gold?
That unsavory boar was browned by nature rather than exposure, but I do suggest we give him a similarly wide berth. This chap looks positively hazardous.
Agreed. And we have not impressed him. I remarked a distinct lack of quivering with fear in the face of respectability. Perhaps this auditory experience will refine your appreciation of true musicianship.
I have never directly criticized your talents, Holmes.
No? I remember the substance of your response to my kreutzer. Some twaddle about the esteem in which you held the aphorism, silence is golden. The macaw is surprisingly accomplished. They're usually less verbal than African greys.
His vocabulary would cause a libertine to blush.
He's a mimic, not a moralist.
Given this unwholesome venue, I'm not surprised he's capable of vulgarity in multiple languages.
His training, though limited, may be instructive. Did you know Thomas Pratt?
Take a hike!
Take a hike.
Not by name. Who sent you?
Nobody sent us.
I don't want nobody here that nobody sent. Damnation, blast and bloody hell. Nosy persons give me ulcers. Damned if they don't.
I could ask the authorities to take an interest in your establishment.
Wait till Tuesday. The number 3 from the Scotland Yard is here with his secretary. Never misses. Now take a hike before you hurt yourself. Shut up!
Dobra, czyli tutaj się niczego nie dowiemy. Wracajmy na miasto. Take a hike. O, to jedna z tych ładniejszych dzielnic Londynu.
I'm looking for a family named Ratchet. You know them.
Course I do. They keeps the palace up west. Now, what about a drink? Then what gives ought to receive, eh?
I think you've had quite enough. You can barely stand.
Proof I ain't had near enough. Fill me up. Save a life, mister. I'm way past depressed. Nothing so sad as an empty bottle of gin. Do us a favour, your worship. Fill it up.
Sorry chłopaki, ale chyba nawet nie mam żadnego trunku. Sieroty. Okay. Aha, musimy czekać aż doktor Watson się przespaceruje, dobra.
Penny for the guy, Gov. Threepence be
Penny
better.
for the guy,
Got
Gov.
the errands need running, boots need blackening, anything. I'm the one.
Do you know where the Ratchet family lives?
I might do, but nothing's for free in this life, Gov. Leastwise not here.
Okej, na razie mu nie chcę płacić. Tinker, okej.
Are you familiar with a family named Ratchet?
I'm a tinker, not a copper. I do honest work.
I'm sure you do. I just wondered if you had a customer named Mrs. Ratchet.
Hard to say. She take pride in her knives, her scissors, keep 'em clean and sharp.
How do I know?
Well, if she don't, I wouldn't have no interest in her, would I? Not likely I'd know her, is it?
Okay. No to jest, musi być jedna z tych ciekawszych dzielnic Londynu. Okay. Są też prostytutki. Sherlock nie może zdecydować, czy chce podejść,
Oh,
czy nie.
looking for something a bit different, love? I know you're tight naughty boy. I know what you're after. Walk on the wild side, am I right? Course I am.
Brzmi jak jeden z gości z tego, z Monty Pythona. Tak, lokacji jest
I'm looking for a
dużo. Dużo
woman
postaci
named
i
Agnes
dużo
Ratchet.
gadania,
Can
dużo
you help
dialogu.
me?
Forget her, Ducky. Why not leave your friend and come round the corner?
I'm sure that would be interesting. But I'm here on business, not pleasure.
You what? Think I'm here for me help? Get on with you.
Tak, ilekroć jesteśmy w jakiejś lokalizacji, albo coś się stanie, zawsze są 2-3 dialogi z Watsonem, nie? Oni też mogą sobie pogadać na każdy z tych tematów, więc tak, gra ma rozmach, nie ma co. Nikt nie oszczędzał.
I help you, no?
O, ładny akcent. Bardzo ładny akcent. Zróbmy save'a. Teraz się wystraszyłem, że gra będzie... Nie tak miało być. Save game i tutaj. Tak, dobra. Co tutaj on ma? Magazines. Co to jest? Gabinet lekarski? Charge, dressing screen, okay. Brains. Skulls. Clippers. Co to, doktor jest jakiś? Doktor Trotman. Okej, no to by dużo wyjaśniało. Doktorze.
Can you direct me to a family named Ratchet?
Avec much pleasure. I measure cranium you und I analyze machen. One English Bob. Remove chapeau, bitte.
You misunderstand me, sir. I'm looking for an address.
Der Kopf ist très interessant.
I'm pleased you think so, but what about the Ratchets?
Ich no, je don't, m'excuse, no good speak.
What in blazes is he on about, Holmes?
He thinks my head is interesting. I believe he'd like to examine it.
He's not alone.
Tak wygląda, jakby był jednym jakimś wariatem od eugeniki.
Any trenchant observations concerning the so-called sciences?
Your deprecatory tone says you have some of your own.
You mistake me, Watson. I support such studies. My current opinion is that they have value, but that they often claim too much for themselves. The road is filled with obstacles, Watson. Your assessment?
The professor has a few phrases for his work, but he speaks no languages fluently. How can he remain in business?
How indeed. Either he's having us on, or someone translates for him.
Czyli ktoś jeszcze... ktoś jeszcze tak
Are there
pracuje.
tools here to help us in this case?
Could they possibly hurt us? I wouldn't call what we've accomplished so far brilliant. We could always test their efficacy, work from a known quantity, so to speak.
Rose.
Hello. It's Rose Hincham, isn't it?
It is, Mr. Holmes. You won't get much from the professor unless you speak Hungarian.
I heard French, German and Italian as well. How do you deal with him?
Me mum was from Budapest. But even with the language, it's a struggle. After rambling all over Europe, he's lost most of his native tongue, or mixed it with others.
Mi mam. Tak.
This is a legitimate business, I trust.
Absolutely, Mr. Holmes. Not
Mr.
many
Holmes.
clients yet, but new methods always meet prejudice, as you must know.
I wouldn't have thought there was much call for the professor's specialities here.
People like talking to any man of science. They're as rare as an honest copper east of St. Paul's.
We're looking for the Ratchet family. No one seems able or willing to help us.
People here is closed-mouthed. Information is power and currency too, when you're poor.
And even when you're not, I've offered to purchase the address, but to no avail.
Not surprised. Very suspicious lot. Don't take to outsiders. Be hard as you are to get the truth. Or you might try the grocer across the way. Even the ratchets have to eat.
It's a good thought.
Fair point.
Tell me about your new work. Are these exciting disciplines, Rose?
Better than prognosticating by palms, Mr. Holmes. And I'm apt, since I quit gin. The professor thinks I've got a gift.
It must be occasionally tempting to promise more than you can deliver.
I'm no quack nor shill neither. I observe. I tell people what I see. It's not exactly what you do, but I bet you had your doubters once.
I take your point. Perhaps you'll forgive my misgivings.
Your privilege, Mr. Holmes. You've got as much right as anybody to be wrong.
Your kindness is much appreciated, Rose. I won't forget it.
I'll be years returning the favour, Mr. Holmes. You kept me out of that Brumwell business, and I'll always be that grateful.
Okej, dobra. Może ona też jest z poprzedniej części. Mówiła, żeby zajść do warzywniaka. Bo nawet ta rodzina, której szukam, zdarza im się jeść, jak ona to powiedziała. Ładne miejsce. O, mysz tu była. Bread, shells, okej.
Try that again and you'll lose a finger, maybe two.
A ten koleś wygląda, jakby miał zaraz mi przywalić.
I'm looking for a Mrs. Ratchet. Can you help me?
His truncheon talks for him. You got business here? Talk to me.
Zastrzel go, Watson.
An astonishing profusion of odours, Watson. Can you distinguish them?
Odours? Your proboscis or your vocabulary have failed you, Holmes. Perfume has an odour. Your laboratory sometimes creates odours. This rank stench equals that of an abattoir.
Watch my back, Watson. Will you do that?
The guard looks to be an unpredictable character. Do you sense something violent is about to transpire?
Intuition, Doctor, is for amateurs.
A, Watson się ustawił do akcji.
He's so aggressively unhelpful. I wonder if he has a personal interest.
This wouldn't be the first time your wandering has put us at risk. Perhaps we should leave, discretion being the better part of valour.
It might have been a better part of success here. Being forthright got us nowhere. Discretion, dissimulation even, could hardly have been less productive, but I'm reluctant to go back west without something to show for our trouble.
Let's just make sure we don't have broken bones to show.
On już komentuje rozmowę ze sklepikarzem, której jeszcze nie odbyliśmy. No dobra, pogadajmy. Proprietor.
I'm looking for a woman named Agnes Ratchet.
O,
Do
wiemy,
you
że
know
jest
her?
Agnes.
This is a grocery, mate. Push off if you're not buying.
Mrs. Ratchet lives hereabouts. I'm told you might know where. Do you?
What's your business with her?
I assure you I mean her no harm.
So coppers always say. Next thing you know, they're sending home the boat in a cosy cell at Pintonville.
I'm not with the police. Mrs. Ratchet works at my brother's office.
Filched a few bob from the tea trolley, did she? Capital crime. Leave off.
Czy ona dla tego pracuje? Dla
This is a
Microsoftu?
confidential inquiry. I'm not an official agent. Won't you tell me what you know?
I know nothing except that thems that grass get mowed down and thems that snoop, strangers I know, fare no better.
What have the police done to deserve your animosity?
I think being poor's a crime. Prove you're guilty of something.
They have a more discriminating sense of justice, surely.
You wasn't here when they tramped over this patch looking for the Ripper. Didn't give a care who they stepped on and for what. Big
szukali Kuby
show. Came to
rozpływacza.
naught. Everybody knows one of the quality done them girls.
As I said, I'm not with the police.
You might as well be. You're not from here, not one of us. Now off with you. You're not worth a charge of GBH. Best quit the neighbourhood.
How did you come by these army rations?
You writing a book?
Just curious.
Serious affliction down here. You heard about the cat what suffered from it?
I'd like to buy some bread.
Help yourself. You can read the price, I suppose.
Could you wrap it up?
That costs extra.
I'll take it as it is. It can't have been long since you pushed your cart through the streets. You appear to be in fine condition.
This here's a grocery, mate. Push off if you're not buying.
I'd lay odds the proprietor knows her, Watson. Perhaps he shops here.
Poor woman. As if living in the neighbourhood weren't a surfeit of misfortune. But even if you're right, I don't see how it helps.
Too true, Doctor. If he doesn't want to tell us what he knows, we can't apply thumbscrews.
Spróbujmy tu wejść.
Round here we treat trespassers worse than rats.
Why is that?
Rats go where they're not wanted by nature. Humans by choice. They both end up the same way. But humans get punished for choosing to do wrong.
Watson?
Might you occupy the proprietor's attention? I want to look inside that copybook.
I can't think of anything to turn his head that won't place our lives at risk. He's only interested in commercial transactions.
Good idea, Watson. At my signal, distract the guard.
I shouldn't like to get too close to him. He might get ideas.
That would be novel for him. Dangerous, even. I'd like some marmalade from the top shelf.
Cash customers is welcome. Cost you $2 bob.
I want a jar, not your whole stock.
Wherever you bought that joke, demand a refund.
Humour is free.
Not when it's at my expense. All sales is final.
Nice bit of weather we're having this time.
Spożywczy z ochroniarzem, to jest trochę podejrzane. Tak? Chociaż dzielnica jest podejrzana, to jest Whitechapel i jakieś to się nie dziwię.
I know Mrs. Ratchet is a customer in this shop. Where does she live?
I could care less what you know. If you're not buying groceries, you've got no business here.
Our resourceful chameleon could penetrate this alien maze with ease.
Wiggins is always willing to work, and he could hardly be less successful than we have been.
Okej, czyli wiemy, że ona tutaj kupuje, bo jest w księgach. A on mówi, że Wiggins, czyli ten gówniarz, który pilnuje porwanego chłopca, znaczy uratowanego chłopca, którego myśmy uratowali przed porywaczami, szuka roboty. No to zajrzyjmy do Wigginsa. Wiggins?
I want you to find a Mrs. Ratchet. Older party, lives off Bishopsgate, near the Spitalfields markets.
Tak, to
At
wygląda
your
jak galeria
service, Mr.
Poznania.
Holmes. You've been out east.
For all the good it did me, I'm suspected and despised there.
Can I take the Metropolitan?
Take the inner circle to Liverpool Street and pay particular attention to a grocery on Frying Pan Lane.
Dobra, poszedł. Teraz pytanie, czy musi się coś konkretnego wydarzyć, czy po prostu możemy wejść do domu i wyjść i on już wróci z tą informacją. Oby.
Return to the hunt, eh, Watson?
As you say, Holmes, return by all means.
Watson. No chłopaki, obuwać się. Nie ma go. Dobra, to chodźmy na miasto, gdzieś pojedźmy. Gdzie jeszcze nie byliśmy. Ministerstwo. Lady Rockwood. Wszędzie już mi się wydaje byliśmy. Jubiler, tak. Pojedźmy tutaj. To chyba tutaj był ten chłopiec porwany, nie?
Thank you, Hepplethwaite. Is Mr. Silverbridge available?
He's resting, sir. The doctor's been here again and given him a sedative.
We'll let him sleep.
A co to było? A, Fartington. Daily Telegraph. A tak, tutaj ten nasz znajomy pracował. Tak. Watson? Nie, też nie masz nic do powiedzenia. Ten, co nas na tego kapitana z pruskiej armii nasłał. A swoją drogą on też gdzieś tutaj... O, tutaj ten Prusak był. Kaiser Wilhelm II.
Thank you for seeing us, sir. I regret I have nothing new to report.
Then I'm sure you'll want to get on with your inquiry. Please don't let me detain you.
Dobra, to może teraz już wrócił. Jest. Wiggins, co tam się dowiedziałeś?
Wiggins, what news of Mrs. Ratchet? Did Frying Pan Lane pay off?
You've got the nose, Mr. Holmes. Greengrocer's her son. She lives over the shop with her old man. He drinks.
I'm not surprised. I should return straight away.
No offence, Gov, but in Spitalfields, you're as welcome as rats in the pram. It's odd times there. Folks don't take to having the lot picked over by strangers. They get shirty, and they get mean.
Thank you, Wiggins. A solo trip incognito is called for. I've got the means upstairs.
Okej, dobra, czyli musimy jedno z przebrań Sherlocka, tak? Wykorzystać, żeby się nie rzucać w oczy i przekonać właściciela sklepu, żeby nas puścił do swojej, jak to się okazuje, matki. Okej. Laborer's costume? O, working woman's costume. Może za prostytutkę przebierzemy. A nie, chyba już working woman w rozumieniu pokojówki. Nie wiem.
Young Ratchet's a sharpie, but he won't penetrate this disguise.
Wygląda jak ten. Jak niezły hipster. Hello, comrade.
Hello, comrade. Might I pop up to see your mum?
Your business?
She's holding some pamphlets for me. Got to circulate the word.
All right. Don't mess about.
No.
Don't dally, you ain't moving in. And don't roil my pie.
Piękne mieszkanie. Agnes Ratchet, to jest ta, która pracuje dla Minecrafta, ale Minecrafta, tak. Cheese zawsze warto obejrzeć. Table, okej. Czyje to po piersie? Karla Marksa, okej. Workbook. Ciekawe, co jest tutaj za tym schowkiem. Coffee pot. Szkoda, że muzyki tu nie ma. A to ta gra cierpi na takie... O, co to? Są takie lokacje, w których jak na złość nie chce żadna muzyka grać, nie? Czy na stole coś jeszcze jest ciekawego? No to nie, no to... Pogadajmy z nią.
My brother has been incapacitated, Mrs. Ratchet. You may speak to me as you would to him.
The real Mr. Holmes wouldn't sneak up here like a rat catcher. A closed door's no obstacle to a person like you, is it?
I wish to speak about the document that went missing from the ministry.
I stole nothing. I'll say nothing more about that formula. Are you trying to trick me into breaking my oath?
That's right, dearie. Answer no questions, tell no lies, eh? This bloke stand me to a dram, huh?
Be silent, Aloysius.
Aloysius.
I know my rights and my duty. I've signed the Official Secrets Act. You've no authority, whatever your name is. You may leave.
That's right, mister. You can go rotate.
Dobra, nie mam jakiegoś listu polecającego od... Patrz, jestem Sherlock Holmes.
Anyone with the means can have a card made up. It proves nothing. Very impersonal.
Very impersonal, okej, czyli ona potrzebowałaby jakiegoś dowodu bardziej personalnego, tak?
I've noticed Mr. Ohm's ring. He must be fond of dogs. You took it from his finger?
Borrowed it, Mrs. Ratchet. It proves my bona fides.
It proves you have his ring. Nothing more.
Bring it in the seas. Bring it in the seas. We'll all come. Bring it in the seas. Oh, ha, ha. 15 men on a dead man's chest. Yeah, with a bottle of rum.
No i on się dobrze bawi. A nie, my tutaj śledztwa musimy robić. Co my tu jeszcze mamy? Od Minecrafta. Snufflebox. O, to jest jego pudełko na tabakę.
Perhaps you do come from Mr. Ohm's. He's always been fair with me. For the moment, let's say you do.
Might you send out Mr. Ratchet so we can talk?
Send him where? The street. He's a dipsomaniac.
I can barely hear myself, let alone you.
Gin and dining with Duke Humphrey have ruined his health. In this mood, only stimulants settle him.
I was considering a sharp rap on the head with a poker.
Bring it in the seas. Bring it in the seas. I love this song. I love this song. And sing it in the salvation bed on the corner. 15 men on
Dobrze
the
się bawi,
dead man's
pan Ratchet.
chest. Yeah.
In lieu of conversation, may I look around your premises?
On what grounds?
You surely realize that you are a suspect in the formula's disappearance.
I had the opportunity, and my political convictions supply the motive. That's simple-minded and insulting.
You wouldn't commit a crime to support your beliefs?
Rob my employer and traffic in government secrets? Never. I'm no man's dupe, and no country's either. Search if you must. I'm sure you'd threaten my job or incarceration if I denied you. Don't skulk about.
Nie, no, my tak nie działamy.
Is there no other way to calm Mr. Ratchet?
Typical of your lot. Sweep the unfortunate under the rug, pretend they don't exist.
Do you have some coffee or strong tea, madam?
Now you want refreshments? I keep no luxuries here, Mr. Holmes. The proletariat has few enough of the necessities.
Do you have anything useful to add, Mr. Ratchet?
I endorse whatever she said. Salt of the earth. Honest as the day is long. True pal.
I have important questions to put to you. There are some curious items here.
Bring in the seas. Bring in the seas. I love this song. I
Co
love
ma
this
teraz mówić? Ile to jego kolej?
song. Sing it in the show.
Dobra. Nie, coś było mowa o... On się pytał, czy ona ma mocną herbatę albo kawę. Chyba, żeby jego odsucić. Tutaj widzę, że jest coffee pot. It's not ready yet. Dobra. Dobra. To może ten ma kawkę. O, nie ma już ochroniarza. Patrzcie go.
Your pa's in a rare state, comrade. Not violent, is he?
Like a lamb, except when he's drinking, which is mostly.
He needs sobering. Victuals and a hot drink would help.
You a physic in your spare time?
I saw some Mare's Head's coffee on the shelves. If you have the real thing, I'd like a £1/4. Your pa needs a caffeine.
None of my affair. That'll cost you £half-crown.
No dobra, zapłaćmy.
Don't dally, you ain't moving in, and don't roil my pa.
Dobra, dobra. Gdzie jest ta kawka? Robi się? Okej, ale nie ma tego dorzucić do pieca? No właśnie. Teraz się powinna zagotować. Dajmy jej chwilę. Albo nie. Pan Ratchet w rzeczywistości wygląda całkiem jak Chris Pratt. Czy w tej rzeczywistości to może by połowa aktorów pod niego podpisać, ale tak. Workbox? Myśmy to przeglądali? Piece of Dark Crimson. O, wax seal. Myśmy mieli jakiś wosk ze sobą, nie? Tak, muzyka zaczęła się, dramatyczna muzyka się włączyła, więc musimy mieć, to jest baton, to jest wax, tak, compare, nie z tym, to samo, dobra.
You were difficult to find, Mrs. Ratchet. Is that by design?
I'm at the Speaker's Corner every Sunday, sir. You might drag yourself out from whatever bourgeois trough you wallow in and receive the truth from Mr. Ingalls.
Would you share any suspicions you harbour concerning the disappearance of the formula?
I'll cast no aspersions.
Those responsible for the theft tried to kill my brother. I will not rest until I find and punish those who are responsible.
In your desire for revenge, would you do violence to the innocent?
The entirely innocent are as rare as a painless amputation, Mrs. Ratchet. Remember that.
They're as common as the entirely guilty, Mr. Holmes. You might remember that.
Pani Ratchet wygadała.
That painting is by Thomas Pratt, isn't it?
What makes you say so?
I know Pratt's style.
Obraz
I
Pratta,
know his
tego,
colours.
który
How
zaginął.
did you
Byliśmy w
come
jego
by it?
mieszkaniu.
He gave it to me. There's nothing wrong with that.
Perhaps.
Siatka
What is your
powiązań.
relation to him?
Very kind man, our Mr. Pratt. Always very kind.
Do you have any idea who would want to harm my brother?
I can't imagine. I'm sorry for his pain and for your grief.
Thank you.
Czy gra nie jest za głośno? Nie, można zrobić... Bo ja się odzywam tylko wtedy, kiedy oni się nie odzywają.
This wax is a part of the seal from the stolen formula. How did you come by it?
I picked it up to save the ministry carpet. I'll add it to my tallow for candles.
Lose that sorry, Mrs. Ratchet. It won't wash. You have placed yourself at grave risk, and not only from the authorities.
What you mean?
I mean that Pratt was murdered for his part in the theft. I mean that as the formula has likely been in this room, you may be in danger. Do
Dźwięk
not
jest bardzo
trifle with
dobry,
me.
Misza.
What have you done with it?
I found it behind the clerk's desk and returned it to the ministry reading room. It's there now.
Stop, Mrs. Ratchet. A lie to protect Pratt will serve neither of you now.
Czyli ta formuła jest wciąż w ministerstwie.
Tell me what you know of Pratt, Mrs. Ratchet.
He was orphaned young and raised by relations. He seemed an unhappy man, friendless, uncomfortable in his work, and his bohemian habits didn't help. Tired all the time. But from his first day at the ministry, he was kind to me. Always kind.
And you repaid the kindness, I think. You returned the formula for him.
Yes. After the document was discovered missing, he came back here, sick from worry. Terrible agitated he was. Said it got into his briefcase by accident.
You believed him then?
Others would have been quick to condemn him, because he's a bit different. But he's been very kind to us. Little remembrances and such. He begged me to return it, so I did. Makes no difference now, I
Teraz się
suppose.
zgubiłem, co? Na
But he promised he would tell Mr. Holmes eventually. And I told Mr. Pratt that I would have to if he didn't.
I believe you, Mrs.
Holmes,
Ratchet.
rozumiem,
I
chodzi o
only wish you had
Mycrofta.
confided in me earlier. Do you have any idea how Pratt spent his leisure time? With whom he spent it?
No, he was a solitary lad. We talk frequently.
To
We never
dlatego, Orsus, że
mentioned
włączyliśmy ten
friends.
szybszy
Are you
tryb i gra
familiar
chodzi
with
2
a
razy
place
szybciej,
called the
żeby
Weary
szybciej postaci
Punt?
Why should
chodziły
hope
po
not?
ekranie. I wtedy się dialogi są mówione w takim samym tempie, a postaci się ruszają 2 razy szybciej. To stąd ta rozbieżność.
What is your opinion of Eldridge Whitney?
Pompous bore. Wants to impress the other boys. Fails miserably. Weak pedigree, it seems. Insults me. Perhaps it makes him feel better about himself. Pathetic sod. Another victim of the class system.
Tak jest, siostro.
How did you return the formula to the ministry reading room?
I've worked here 20 years, Mr. Holmes. I'm not entirely stupid. I resealed it and left it amidst the rubble on the clerk's desk.
You didn't think it strange, let alone sinister, that the seal was broken?
The seal must be broken to see what's inside. That's the point, isn't it?
Not really. Why didn't you return it to its filing box?
I couldn't find it. Mr. Pratt said it was number 5. I thought the mess on the desk would suit, and I was certain that Mr. Whitney would never notice until long after I'd gone home. He's not the most attentive clerk.
Was there anything peculiar about the document? Anything unexpected?
Now that you mention it, there was an odd brown stain in one corner. I don't know how it came to be there.
As you were friends, I'm sorry to inform you that Thomas Pratt has been found brutally murdered.
How awful.
Nie tylko murdered, ale
I'd
brutally
wondered
murdered.
where he'd gone. He was kind to me, considerate. Always asked after my unlucky boy. I'll miss him.
Would it shock you to learn that Thomas Pratt was involved in the theft of the formula?
If it's true, yes. I never took him for a thief. But if you found your culprit, why are you questioning me?
I don't know why he stole it, or for whom, or who his accomplices were. I wonder if you were one of them, Mrs. Ratchet.
Okej, dobra. To chyba się więcej nic od nich nie dowiemy. Czy co zabraliśmy stąd? A, mamy... Nie, dobra. To wróćmy na Baker Street. Tak. Zdajmy raport. Czyli z tego co rozumiem, ona podrzuciła z powrotem tą formułę do ministerstwa, czyli formuła powinna być w ministerstwie.
Mrs. Ratchet has been played as a pawn, Watson, and it seems Whitney has not revealed all he knew about the formula.
That was clear from our interview. What has changed?
The lost has been found right under his nose. The formula is back at the ministry. I may have to turn up the heat again.
Too much heat can kill, Holmes.
Perhaps a more figurative warming will serve us just as well.
Po tej wymianie uszczypliwości o podkręcaniu temperatury wnoszę, że to jest ten koleś, którego torturowaliśmy w
Let's be off, Watson,
łaźniach.
while the scent is fresh.
I'm no tracking hound, Holmes, but I know how to hunt.
Haha. Teraz gdzie były łaźnie? Jak tam Wigginsy? Coś nowego do powiedzenia? Nie? Tam Silverbridge? Virgil? Nie. Dobra. Łaźnie. Klub. Chyba to były łaźnie. Tak. To było gdzieś... Nie, tu jest wyjście, a gdzieś się jeszcze szło dalej do łaźni, nie? O, tutaj. Muzyka mapy jest doskonała, tak, jest w stylu i cały czas napierdala w kółko, dopóki nie wyjdziesz z niej. Czy on jeszcze żyje? Myśmy go, mam tak wrażenie, że go tydzień temu, ale jak liczyć w prawdziwym czasie, to 3 miesiące temu zamknęliśmy w tym piekarniku.
It seems that you have not been completely forthcoming with me, Whitney.
I've told you what you needed to know.
Hardly. You were probably on duty when the formula went missing. Now I learn that you were on duty when it was returned. Imagine the coincidence. I hate coincidence.
You can't prove that it ever left the reading room unless you know who took it or who returned it. Who was it, Mr. Holmes?
Don't make yourself absurd, Whitney. While turnabout may be fair play, you don't possess the acumen or the information to bring it off.
Okej, coś jeszcze? Whitney?
What is the connection between Pratt's murder and the return of the formula?
There isn't one. The formula never left the office. It's perfectly sealed. Everything's in order.
All your assertions are demonstrably false. But as an ostrich has more curiosity than yourself, and because I think you actually believe them, I won't waste my time. When will you return to the ministry?
I'll toddle back after my bath. Don't bother coming down. In my official capacity, you will find me a less pliant witness than at present.
That will be a treat. I think you have forgotten that whatever its outcome, you are not blameless in this affair. Cooperation may serve your interests. I think you should get dressed, Mr. Whitney. Now.
Oh, very well. You might give a man some privacy.
Some privacy? Dobra. Czyli on teraz wyjdzie i on będzie w ministerstwie, do którego możemy pójść, tak?
I earnestly
Your concern
To już rozmawialiśmy. Zróbmy save'a, zanim pójdziemy do tego ministerstwa. Tu jest exit. Ministerstwo, tu jest. I teraz to jest on, tak? Zamiast innego klerka tutaj on siedzi teraz. Okej, no dobra. O, dokument.
Touch nothing on the desk, Mr. Holmes. You should consider all this as the Queen's personal property.
Document register.
That is classified government property, Mr. Holmes. In any case, it contains nothing of which your brother...
No dobra, on nie chce nam pokazać rzeczy, nie dziwię
What
się.
is the condition of the Dewar document, Mr. Whitney?
In my official capacity, I couldn't comment. Now, please leave. This room is restricted.
Do not pull your counterfeit rank with me, Whitney. If you entertain dreams of advancement, I suggest you assist me. A classified document has been moving in and out of your reading room under your nose.
I am innocent in all that. My behavior has been above suspicion, and there is no proof that it ever left this room.
Certain senior ministers may feel differently. My brother certainly does. Is your position so strong that you're willing to run the risk? Now, if you please, I'd like to examine Dewar's formula.
You are not on my list, Mr. Holmes. I assure you that it is in our possession, and further, that it is in perfect condition.
Where was it discovered, and by whom?
Ah, it was located here, close by, in this room, of course. Merely misplaced, I should think.
I'm sure. I'd like to see it, handle it.
No. Threaten what you will. My minister will support me.
The formula is back, if ever it left. I should think your part in this matter is at an end.
Which merely shows how little your thoughts are worth. When did you last see Thomas Pratt?
It was the morning he reported the formula missing.
Did you ever see him in company? Men, women, lovers, etc.?
Once or twice, perhaps. A young man. We had no mutual friend.
Kilka się kwestii nie zgadza z tym, co czytane, a z tym, co napisane.
Who from the ministry formed Pratt's circle of acquaintance?
He spoke occasionally to Lord Lawton and was overly familiar with the Ratchet woman.
Znamy.
To others he was merely civil.
No enemies that you know of?
None. Now, why was he murdered?
If you truly don't know, you'll learn soon enough, Mr. Whitney.
Brzmi jak groźba. Okej. Znowu trzeba jakąś akcję tutaj, czuję, z Watsonem odpalić. Albo w sumie, gdybyśmy mieli... Mycroft pracował chyba, albo był ministrem, nie wiem czy w tym konkretnym ministerstwie, ale Mycroft jest jeszcze nieprzytomny. Chyba że mamy jakąś jego wizytówkę, albo...
Hardly the most secure of rooms, Watson.
Well, the door lock would not challenge a burglar of moderate skill.
Anyone with access to the shelves could steal their contents, one document at a time.
Place runs on the honor system, like the library of a gentleman's club. No wonder security's in a muddle.
Can we learn anything more here, Watson?
About the deplorable condition of British security, I'm sure. About our case, I'm less certain.
This fellow needs a lesson in humility, Watson. Will you assist me?
With extraordinary pleasure, Holmes.
Spróbujmy wejść.
What is your authorization, Mr. Holmes? If you take another step into the room, you'll be charged with criminal
7,
trespass
6,
and
5,
jail.
tango.
Is there an echo in here, Watson?
No dobra. Czy mamy coś tam? Nie. Telegram? Nie. Sheet music, chess. Newspaper, telegram. To jest jakiś dokument od Mycrofta, ale permission nie. Summons. O.
That's quite general, isn't it?
It is specific enough for you, Mr. Whitney. I expect your cooperation, as would my brother. The formula is alleged to have disappeared from this room. May I examine the premises?
As a favour to your brother, I suppose I could allow it.
No.
But don't touch anything and don't bother the
Historia,
patrons.
od razu.
You're here on my sufferance, Mr. Holmes.
Whatever you say, Whitney. Can you imagine a connection between Pratt's murder and the theft or the return of the formula?
No.
I
No.
suspected that your imagination might not be up to it.
On nawet sobie nie zadaje trudu, żeby sobie wyobrazić. Okej.
Excuse me, sir.
No conversation permitted. Breach of
No dobrze. No dobrze.
Sir, have you seen unauthorized persons in this room?
Poza panem nie.
Finally, someone's come to redress that affront to decency.
Excuse me?
I was served an accommodation bill in this very chair. A demand for payment. It's an outrage. A trivial debt less than 10 years old, imagine. There's no place safe from these fellows, I ask you. Pratt let the blighter in. His job's in jeopardy. I've had assurances from the minister. Yes, indeed, assurances.
Job security is no longer among Pratt's problems.
O, ła. Dobra. Save. Co my tu mamy? This dustbin is now dangerously full of flammable debris. Okej. To jest tak jednoznaczne jest. Ta muzyka. Ministerstwo Just Got Pranked. Dobra. Czy tu można obejrzeć tą formułę? Wiggins, coś ciekawego? Czy to będzie kolejny z tych... Czy będzie tą formułę zbadać pod mikroskopem, czy po prostu możemy ją przejrzeć? Najpierw sobie zróbmy save'a. Brakuje muzyczki. No takie miejsce jak Baker Street tutaj, gdzie oni są razem, często rozmawiają i tak dalej, to powinien być jakiś temat muzyczny przypisany temu konkretnemu miejscu. Zobaczmy tą formułę. Look. Signature of cream-laid paper, blah, 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 folded lengthwise. Ok. Tak. Zróbmy to na stole. That's what she
The
said.
brown stain is water-based.
Is it tea or coffee?
Neither, I suspect.
Taste.
Not vegetable or animal matter. I'd wager it's an alkaline salt, and there's a hint of something bitter.
Wąchaliśmy? Tak, wąchaliśmy już.
Decisively bitter, but too faint to say more.
Is it my imagination, or has the stain darkened slightly?
I think you're right, Watson. I suspect potassium cyanide or thiosulfate of soda. Both are photographer's fixatives. Both are light sensitive.
Ten fotograf. Ten fotograf. On tam coś namieszał.
I'll analyze a piece of the stain in a sulfate solution. A yellow result will show I'm on the right track.
Fine, Holmes, but please maintain the integrity of the document.
Okej, czyli możemy zniszczyć dokumentu, a fragment dokumentu możemy wziąć? Tak, możemy wziąć fragment dokumentu. Tylko teraz... Okej, wrzuciliśmy. Nie. 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 O. Co to było? Felix Sulfite. Okej. Nie. 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 Woda. Tak.
Looks like a strong solution of potassium cyanide. The proper nitrate will provide the emblematic Prussian blue.
Co mówił? A co powinno? Iron nitrite?
You've got the result, but what does it mean?
The formula has almost certainly been photographically copied. Our search continues.
Okej, czyli wykonano kopię tej formuły. Ktoś zrobił zdjęcie. Czyli ten fotograf jest zamieszany. Musi być. Dobra.
Come along, Watson. The game's afoot.
Quite so, Holmes.
Quite so. To znaczy, oh my god, jednak stream. No oczywiście, że stream był wpisany na rozpiskę. To jest, tak byliśmy umówieni, nie? Dobra, po drodze zajrzyjmy do prawnika. Który to był ten prawnik?
He may be engaged. I haven't even announced you. Were you raised by wolves?
Good day, gentlemen. What a pleasant surprise. Help yourself to a sherry while I
Dobra, czy coś nowego?
Will you settle for the reason I wish to speak with him and trust me for the details? Of course. A document went missing from the Ministry of Defense, and Bledsoe is among the last persons known to have seen it. He subsequently moved to terminate the inquiry into its disappearance. The probable thief has now been found, dead, executed. You see my problem. As he openly signed out the document and returned it, and was not alone in his opposition to the inquiry, I don't think I can help you, Holmes. You are on a sort of unofficial fishing expedition, and Bledsoe is an excitable character of nervous disposition. I truly don't know where he is at the moment.
Nie możesz jakiś zaaranżować?
I beg you to arrange a meeting with Bledsoe, Farthington. What makes you think I can do that? Because I have told you nearly nothing that you have not already heard from his own mouth. What neither of you may know is that my brother's injuries resulted from an attempt on his life by those responsible for stealing the document. You are a man of probity, Holmes, but you are an aggressive investigator. Can I secure your pledge that you will neither badger nor harass Bledsoe? I promise. Please, Farthington, the security of the nation may be at risk. No need to up the ante, Holmes. I take this as serious. If I can arrange a meeting, I'll send a wire to your digs. Still on Baker Street, are you? Naturally, at 221B. Fine. If my office holds no more interest for you, please see yourselves out.
Okej, czyli on zaaranżuje z tym Bannisterem spotkanie, czyli musimy siedzieć po prostu na Baker Street i czekać, aż on przyjdzie, tak? Miejmy nadzieję. No. Knock, knock, knock.
Come in, Mrs. Hudson. Come today at your convenience. Bledsoe awaits with the equanimity of a ring-tailed lemur in a room of rocking chairs. There will be conditions, but you won't mind that, I suspect. JF. The elusive Bledsoe run to earth. I suppose we must see him eventually, though my hopes are not high.
Farthington has taken some trouble. We shouldn't be discourteous.
Dobra, czyli wracamy do Farthingtona. I tam powinien ten Beddoes czekać, czy jak on się tam nazywa.
It's time we made a move, Watson.
Beddoes?
Carry on, Holmes. I'll follow your lead.
Dobrze, że przyjechaliśmy cały Londyn do Baker Street, żeby wrócić tam do tego Farthingtona. No cóż, taka praca detektywa. Gdzie jesteś, Farthington? Nie pamiętam, który to jego symbol. A.
Always a pleasure, Mr.
Nie tu. Tu, proszę.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, may I present Mr. Philip Bledsoe? I leave you alone. Mr. Holmes, please remember your pledge. No badgering.
Dobrze, Orson. Okay.
Thank you for seeing us, Mr. Bledsoe. Thank Farthington, I was dragooned. I'm sorry you feel coerced. Spare me the pleasantries and state your business. Fair enough. On my brother's behalf, I'm looking into the disappearance of Professor Dewar's formula from the ministry. You can prove your bona fides, I presume.
Przecież.
What kind of cigarettes do you smoke, Mr. Bledsoe? I have an Egyptian blend made up for me at Randall's. What of it? Just curious, Mr. Bledsoe. A habit of mine.
Taki small talk.
When did you last look at Dewar's formula? I never saw it. I mean, I checked it out, but I didn't break the seal. I returned it. The clerk will verify my account. Regrettably, Mr. Pratt can supply no such thing, which is one of the reasons we're talking. But never mind. Please be responsive to the original question, Mr. Bledsoe. If I want bullying, I can go to the gadfly. I checked it out because I take my duties seriously. I'm behind in my document. Very commendable, I'm sure.
Hey, pal. Hey, buddy.
I assume you know that Pratt was found murdered. Do you know where we might find any of his associates or Mrs. Ratchet? Now you're on to something. Why do you say so? I've had thoughts about those two. They were both on duty when I went home. I know nothing of his social set, but Pratt's fondness for bathhouses is well known. Local ones, I should think. What about Mrs. Ratchet? The woman lives somewhere out east. Radicals all over the place. In other words, you know nothing about either one. Presumably, you know my brother has been hospitalized. Yes. I suppose the investigation will be indefinitely postponed. Your concern is touching. The explosion that injured him was no accident. I had nothing to do with it, I assure you. I hope not. The attempt on his life was related to the formula's theft. I had nothing to do with that either, if there was a theft. Don't be quite so literal, Mr. Bledsoe. I'm asking for your help. Certainly you see now that these events are related. The termination of the inquiry into the theft is necessarily connected to them both. That wasn't my idea. I'm innocent of initiating anything that might be construed as criminal. That narrow view will cause you grief someday, Mr. Bledsoe. Perhaps sooner than you think. It's awkward to find you via Farthington. Where might we reach you if the need arises? I like to present a moving target to my enemies, Mr. Holmes. Never stay in one place too long. Scurrilous newshounds are always trying to corner me. Until this blows over, you should consider me unavailable.
Aha. Co ty na to? Nic na to, dobra. No dobra. Ale co teraz? Miałem nadzieję, że on nas pokieruje dalej. Okej. Fotograf, tak, zaraz pójdziemy do fotografa, tylko jeszcze chcę dać Lordowi Lawtonowi jedną szansę. Aha, nie ma go już.
Where is the engagement portrait of Lord Lawton and
On
Lady
też coś wie
Cordelia?
jeszcze o tym fotografie. Co do fotografa po prostu przygotowany.
Grotesque it was, set on the corner table in a frame.
Have there been any tradesmen in the house?
Never in the front rooms, Mr. Holmes, except for the piano tuner. We've fallen far, but some standards of respectability are maintained.
Have you recalled anything more of interest, Jenkins?
Nothing material, Mr. Holmes. My nerves are in a ruinous condition.
Summon Lord Lawton, Jenkins.
He's not at home.
Enough of that at-home drivel. Rouse him now.
Truly, Mr. Holmes. Took his small Gladstone bag. Is he in real trouble this time?
A man like Lawton carries trouble with him. It's like his rose tattoo, usually out of sight, just below the surface, but always there.
Okej, czyli nie zawołamy go. Dobra. Co settle? Hit? Co możemy hitnąć? Aha, tak, bo tu zaniedbane były te pomieszczenia, faktycznie. To zróbmy sobie save'a i jedźmy faktycznie do tego fotografa. Gdzie on był, ten fotograf? A, on miał swoją własną lokację.
Won't be a moment, gentlemen. The sample portraits are my calling cards. Feast your eyes and help yourself.
Dobra, to już znam. Przecież ty nas też znasz. To po co nam kolejna wizytówka? Wyłaź stamtąd. Wszystko wiemy. Albo nic. Nie. Co można pokazać? No wiemy, że ten dokument był fotografowany. Zdjęcia mu już pokazywaliśmy, nie?
Who is the person depicted in the photograph?
Lieutenant Basingstoke. He recently succumbed to cholera in Suez. Shocking loss for all who knew him. How have you come by it?
By accident.
Hardly.
Dobra, to już było.
Most
They do.
is not a... Is there a...
That is my...
Might we...
It is not.
I saw the portrait...
And you were impressed.
Not at the moment.
Never.
To też już było. Okej.
It appears...
That's it.
The
You're right.
no...
Mamy już przegadane.
You are here on my sufferance, sir. Keep away from my private studio, or I shall seek an official remedy.
Trochę myślałem, że tu będzie konfrontacja teraz. Aha. Czy coś przeoczyliśmy? O, borrow. Podpal śmietnik, tak. Nie było takiej opcji, żeby pożyczyć wcześniej. Poza tym nie widzę śmietnika tutaj, ale studio fotograficzne by się paliło. Nie wiem, czy oni też używają celuloidu. No nie wiem.
Most studios now use the...
They do, and I say...
Is not all collodion development basically the same?
No.
I saw the...
And you will
Not at the...
never. My...
Nie otwiera się żadna nowa. No dobra. No to... No to... Gdzie my jeszcze nie byliśmy? W sensie czego nie zbadaliśmy dobrze. Tutaj w tym laboratory byliśmy już, nie?
Professor, have you made any headway with that spring?
I'll get to it as I'm able, Mr. Holmes. Please excuse me.
Okej, nie tutaj. Panowie, coś macie do powiedzenia? No mogę Whitneyowi pokazać, że był fotografowany. Zobaczymy, czy on zareaguje na to jakoś.
Is there anything more that you wish to tell me, Whitney?
There is in fact a great deal I would wish to tell you, Mr. Holmes, but I value my situation. I know you to be an ill-mannered extortionist, a bully with powerful connections, a likely pyromaniac and thief. Still, I say nothing, except to get out. There is nothing for you here.
Civility might have saved you from your hard tuition, Whitney. But with a dolt such as you, I doubt it.
Ministerstwo nie. Lutona już nie ma. W tym barze nie byliśmy na zapleczu, nie?
Do you know the real names of any of your customers?
Who's asking and why? What business is it of yours?
I asked a civil question, my man. Can't you offer a civil answer?
No. Now shut your hole and bugger off. I got nothing more to say to your likes.
Suggestions, Watson?
While we have our health and our purses, I recommend a retreat.
Live to fight another day, eh?
Exactly, and preferably someplace else.
Always sage advice. At least we don't go away empty. Despite the barman's denial, Pratt was a regular here. A devotee of De Quincey. No doubt about it.
Okej, skąd się tego dowiedzieliśmy, nie wiem. Ale wiemy. Gdzie jeszcze możemy iść? Możemy spróbować wejść. Dobrze nas potnie.
You're about to hoist a foul cargo, mister. It's rivermen and sailor boys only back there. Move on or they'll find your liver round the Isle of Dogs.
No dobra. A jeszcze jedna lokalizacja. To Whitechapel, ale... Tu jest jeszcze jakiś budynek.
Get on with you. Soul-saving gates make me sick as a belly full of bad rum. Couple of prigs. Move on for a wreck, you. Don't need preaching for your likes.
Okay. Fajnie wygląda ten most. Scotland Yard. No. Okej, nie to nie. Dobra. To. Może się poskarżymy Prusakom? Nie, też nie. Gazecie? Nie. Ha. No to nie wiem. James Park, Lady Lockridge Townhouse. Townhouse. Lady Lockridge to była ta, co opery, to co grała na fortepianinie, nie? Thomas Pratt to jest ten martwy. To jest ten wysadzony klub, mieszkanie Mycrofta. Haberdashery, St. James Park. Animal Emporium, nie? Cleopatra's Needle. Cleopatra's Needle? Tutaj było ciało. Tak. Okej. Dobra. Kurczę, jakby trzeba było coś na Baker Street teraz wykombinować, takie mam wrażenie. Poza tym, że ten fotograf powinien... Myślę, że z tym fotografem powinniśmy wejść w jakąś interakcję. W sensie, no, docisnąć go, żeby jednak wejść na zaplecze, żeby móc udowodnić. A, jeszcze jedna osoba może. Jeszcze jedna osoba, jeszcze ten malarz, amator. U fotografa miał się dokończony dialog z Watsonem, ten, który psuł grę, ale już mi nie zostały chyba żadne. Właśnie chyba... Wiesz, mam wszystko.
It appears that Lady Lockridge...
That seems...
do not reproach...
You're right.
Nor can...
No to jest pierwszy.
Despite your best efforts, Doctor, it appears I am not...
So I remark.
Nic więcej nie ma.
Is there a second...
That is my workroom.
Might we go back?
It is not convenient.
Most studios...
They do.
Is not all...
Pokażmy mu coś. Szkoda, że tego dokumentu, który on fotografował, nie można mu pokazać.
Who is the person depicted
Lieutenant Big.
by accident?
Hardly. You are here on...
Watson, strzelaj do niego. No nie, nic nie ma. No dobra. Okej, bo tak czy inaczej minęły dwie godziny, to i tak zrobimy tutaj przerwę, ale jestem w kropce teraz. Zerknijmy jeszcze na mapę miasta. Tu na pewno, nie? Silver Beach. Możemy ewentualnie pójść do... Ewentualnie do brata pójść i dać mu raport, może coś wymyśli. Gdzie jest mój brat?
Sister, what has become of the gentleman in white?
The poor dear is singing in the choir invisible, Mr. Holmes. Popped off without a word, he did.
What's happened here? Where is my brother, sister?
Doctor says he requires complete quiet. Matron has moved him to a private room. I had to report her intrusion, you see. She was displeased.
Okej, dobra, czyli to nie tak, że go porwali, tylko po prostu na wszelki wypadek gra go wyłączyła gra wyłączyła go z gry, żeby nie było niezręcznie, gdybym na przykład tak jak teraz przyszedł z nim porozmawiać i zdać mu raport. Dobra.
I told you he wasn't here.
Okej, czyli Fartingtona już nie ma. Kalendarz, może przejrzymy kalendarz? Jak go nie ma teraz? No tu nie ma innych dokumentów, które moglibyśmy jeszcze przeczytać i gwizdnąć, nie? Watson, co ty na to? Nie, ty nic na to. Dobra. Ty się jeszcze na zdjęcie.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Holmes. Was there some...
A nie można z nim pogadać już. Albo byśmy, pożyczyliśmy ten portret i moglibyśmy porównać na Baker Street, czy użyto tych samych chemikaliów, które zostawiły ślad na tym dokumencie, co? Czy on po prostu ten fotograf korzysta z tej samej chemii, która jest na tym dokumencie, która jest na tej formule, która była ewidentnie fotografowana. O! Kto tam?
Come in, Mrs. Hudson. Analysis complete. Traces of ammonium nitrate may have a name. Dewar.
Terse bordering on rude, but intriguing.
Co tą
Perhaps we
analizę
should
robił?
further
Ten koleś
impose
z
on the
laboratorium?
professor's obviously valuable time.
Okej, ale kim jest ten Dewar? Kim on jest? Kto jest synem kogo? Dobra, to jest dobry moment. Takim cliffhangerem możemy skończyć tą konkretną część. Ku mojemu zdziwieniu nie udało się skończyć dzisiaj jeszcze Sherlocka. To wygląda, że to jeszcze potrwa najmniej jeden odcinek. Czyli pewno gdzieś w przełomie kwietnia i maja. Tartak, mam pytanie niezwiązane. Pytaj. Grałeś w Katie Rain? Nie, ale mam Katie Rain. Mam Katie Rain w zasadzie od premiery, ale nie grałem. Do zobaczenia w czerwcu, przyjaciele. Fani przygodówek. Nie, na nowo się wkręciłem, bo to jest jednak całkiem dobra gra. Więc z przyjemnością dociągniemy to do końca i rozwiążemy. Myślę, że teraz ta wiadomość, którą dostaliśmy, otwiera nam jakąś nową opcję na mapie. Bez spoilowania. Przekonamy się o tym za tydzień. Zostawiam was z tym cliffhangerem. Przypomnę tylko, że jeszcze 2 godziny zostały do końca licytacji kalendarza i z tego, co mi donoszą, kalendarz przebił kwotę 3900 zł. W związku z czym jesteśmy już grubo ponad rekord z zeszłego roku. Mam nadzieję, że czekacie te ostatnie 2 godziny, żeby jeszcze podbić na końcu. Trzymam kciuki. Już jesteśmy zadowoleni, a może być jeszcze lepiej. Już 4300. Super. Bomba. Bardzo się cieszę na tą okazję. 4400 prawie. Super. Przypomnę, że całość środków idzie na wsparcie 32 finału Wielkiej Orkiestry Świątecznej Pomocy. My jako Forumogadka nie zobaczymy ani złotówki z tej transakcji, co nam absolutnie nie przeszkadza. Po to została ta aukcja stworzona właśnie. Dobra, dziękuję wam bardzo jeszcze raz. Jutro nowa rozpiska. Myślę, że będzie w niej Sherlock na niedzielę, ale też na pewno inne propozycje. Dziękuję Wam bardzo za obecność i do zobaczenia w przyszłym tygodniu. Trzymajcie się, pa.